इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं मैं पीछे तो नहीं रह जाऊंगा ना
अरे ग्रो ट्राई कर यार ये
Johnny Adam, who's there with Joe right now, and they were at the start of the season looking at this as a title push, and they're only 9 points off of that one. So let's hear the thoughts, shall we, of Johnny Adam, who's down there with Joe right now.
Johnny, so good place to start, second place outside at turn one, sometimes difficult. Where's Giacomo in his prep? What have you told him to expect? What's the plan?
Go for it, basically. Yeah, I mean, they've swept turn one and turn two, but at the same time, we have to be a bit cautious. You know, there's obviously quite a few cars that are quite in close contention in terms of lap time, so it's a long race. We've got no pit stop time today, so we're in a good place for that. But yeah, we'll see. Our pace has been good all weekend. Giacomo's not been here for 12 years, so he's upped the pace every session and done a good qualifying lap. So we're happy. We've got good balance on the car. We tried a few things yesterday and they seemed to work. So yeah, we're quite confident.
Nice, I like it, I believe him. Let's leave Johnny. That's 50% of the driver lineup in this Aston Martin. You can see Giacomo Petrobelli here, just getting a bit of water, going to rudely interrupt Giacomo. How are you feeling? We've spoken to Johnny about the plan for the start. How do you envisage it going into turn number one?
Well, we'll try and keep it clean. Obviously, it's in our interest to just make sure we all get out. We've got, he's got a 20-second penalty at the pit stop, we don't. So if there's a chance to overtake, of course, we'll go for it. But I'm conscious I'm on the outside. Alex is normally quite aggressive at the start, so we'll just make sure we manage the position.
Okay, sounds good. It's kind of aggressive, but maybe with a pensive regard. So it's very hard to go all the way around the outside at turn one there because it is a longer distance. And then turn two, Druids, is also around the outside. Someone that's good at going around the outside, Rob Collard, reigning champion. We're rarely seeing you off the front row here at Brands Hatch. How does it feel to be all the way back here, row two?
Oh. Row two is still a great place to start, and Hugo, my teammate yesterday, done a fantastic job. I was just a little bit off it yesterday in qualifying, but warm up this morning I felt really good. The Lambo's absolutely handled him beautiful, so I think over the course of the race we'll be in a good position.
Okay, and what's the target by the end of your stint? Where do you want to hand it over to Hugo Cook?
The target is always to be in the lead, so I think it's going to be quite interesting. First lap will be quite punchy. I'd like to try and think we can do a bit of a touring car start, maybe go around the outside of a couple of people, so keep the cameras on and see what happens.
There we go, we heard it first. I think this car's actually doing a slight split strategy. Rob won't agree with me, but I think they're putting left-hand side tyres on in stint 1 and 2. Not all 4 tyres. He did just nod his head, so I got something right there. So expect 2 tyres to be changed on that car because there's so many right-handers. It's so important for the driver to have that loaded side. Right. Charles Dawson, championship leader, further back than we've ever seen this season, Charles, sorry. How's it feeling all the way back here in 6th?
Look, we've got to look forward. Qualifying's done, so yeah, we didn't get the maximum. I don't think either of us got the maximum out of ourselves or the car. So we just got to look forward. There's plenty of time, people with time penalties ahead of us. It's hotter than expected. The Merc comes good second half of the race, so look, it's hard to pass here, we know that. But opportunities will come, like in Spa, and we just got to get our head down. And yeah, I think if we can get up to the podium, I think that'll be a solid result, and then it's all to play for in Donington still.
Okay, and we saw the Mercedes yesterday looking tricky, especially turn 7 for yourself and then turn 8 as well. Is that the hardest corner for you, or where do you not like this Mercedes right now, balance-wise?
Yeah, we brought the aero forward. We just didn't seem to have the front end and the back end of the circuit. Yeah, 7 and 8. 7 and 8 were the trickiest, where I went off in 7, Kian on 8. Obviously mine was just trying to be a bit too much of used tyres. I would have liked a bit more of a gap. So but yeah, we made a few changes overnight. Hopefully that will help today. And yeah, we just got to crack on and see what we can do.
Awesome, right, no more negative thoughts. Now, that's GT3. Let's go back to GT4, where Bryn is.
Thanks very much there, Joe. Yeah, I've wandered all the way down here to GT4 to the pole sitter. We didn't actually get to speak to you in the pole position yesterday, but your time, combined time of 1.4 seconds up the road from the car next door, that's a whopper.
You definitely did speak to me yesterday, but nice to know you forgot. But no, yeah.
Not at the end we didn't. I got you on your session.
You got me in my session. But no, yeah, it was a solid time. Hooked up, it was a little bit leery, definitely on the edge. But no, we've had the pace, and it would just be interesting to see now if we've got that race pace to really sort of pull a lead. And I think for sure this is our best shot with the Pro-Am BMW having a compensation time. So yeah, ideally we just want to have a clean start, get out there and pull some time.
And what you mean by that is behind you, Ravi Ramid and Charlie Robertson, they've got a 20-second pit stop compensation. You've got 24 seconds in yours because of being a silver pairing, so you've got to make up 4 seconds.
We've got to make up 4 seconds on them, but then of course Mark Warren, They haven't got it, so we've got to pull 24 seconds on them, so that's going to be tough.
Best of luck, best of luck. Let's go for a little wander then, shall we, a bit further down the pit lane. If you swing to the right there, you'll see Luca Hopkinson and Harry George, sorry. They're starting in P2. Very, very lively at P3 or in the championship at the moment. If we head a little bit further on here, when we talk championship protagonists, well, you cannot ignore these two, Ravi Ramid and Charlie Robertson. And you've got this 20-second pit stop compensation, so it's all about banking a decent position, especially ahead of those guys to your left.
Yeah, it is. So I'm quite relaxed, really. We know we got some good pace yesterday. McLaren have been given a little bit of a help with the BOP change overnight, so expect them to be strong. We've just got to try and take it to Donington. 20 seconds at the stop. Obviously, it doesn't look good in our favour, but all you need is a safety car and something untoward to happen, which, with the amount of gravel and jeopardy around Brands GP, isn't unexpected. So it's a long race. Rav's feeling cool. He's staying in there with the aircon on. So yeah, let's see if we pop out.
It's cooler than us, that's for sure. It was always back to Alton Park for you guys this season, wasn't it? How much of a hit has that been for you, and how have you managed to recover?
Yeah, I mean, coming out of Alton, it was like 55-point deficit or something to the 90 car. We've over halved that since. And obviously we look at it and go, oh, well, if that hadn't happened, we'd be there. But it's all learning, especially for Ravi. I mean, Alton's one of the toughest tracks to get lapped by GT3 traffic at, and he found out the hard way. So, yeah, tough lesson. We'd like to think we would be right on the heels, if not ahead of the 90 McLaren, if it wasn't for that. But, yeah, we just want to take it to Donington.
Angel One app is built for traders.
Good luck, good luck. We'll head a little bit further off here to the right then to speak to Jack Brown, who's outside the car. Inside the car is Mark Warren. 23.5 points is their advantage in this championship. They sit in P1 at the moment, and Jack Brown is the reigning champion, and history, as you know, could be made today if you win the title here, the first two-time GT4 champion.
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice, but anything can happen today, so we're just going to do what we usually do, keep it clean, and I think we'll be able to drag a result out of it today. So, yeah, fingers crossed.
Your results have been remarkable this season, haven't they? 4 victories along the way over the course of the season. It's only you and the BMW alongside that have taken victories.
Yeah, no, that is true. Yeah, slightly feel sorry for everybody else, but it is what it is, and yeah, hopefully we can get another win today. So.
With your experience from last year, I mean, you won here in the Battle of Brands to win the championship. Of course, it's a Donington decider this season. How are you taking that experience, and how is that helping you keep cool and keep Mark cool as well?
I think, you know, they're different years, and each year has had its different difficulties. Certainly this year has been very tricky for us. You know, we find ourselves in a really good position, and we, as I say, Mark and I work really well together, and we're just going to keep on doing what we usually do. So.
Very best of luck. There you go. We are pretty much ready then here on the grid to disappear off and allow these cars to get all noisy and get out on track and race in anger. So for now, here from the grid and the pit lane, it's back to you, David Addison.
Britton, thanks very much. The grid then is being cleared, and we get ready then for the penultimate round of the British GT Championship. The grid looking slightly different this week, in as much as we are without senior pit lane official Jules Battendale. For the first time in about 13 years, Jules has decided that rather than tramp up and down the pit lane, he can sit in the garden with a beer or something. And we hope to see you back in action, Jules, at Donington. From all your friends in the British GT paddock, we hope to see you back very soon. Best wishes to you. Right, the grid is formed. Joe has legged it from the grid back upstairs. Interesting to hear from the drivers. Now, the story, even before the race is underway, is surrounding number 7 Aston Martin. The team manager summoned to the stewards. The grid procedure was under investigation. We understand that was for putting a fan on the front of the car just to keep it cool on the grid, and that I don't think you're allowed to do. We will have a look at that in due course. We'll come back to the story. Let's just do the grid, because in terms of the class pole positions, in GT4 Pro-Am, Ravi Ramid, Charlie Robertson took the pole position there. In GT4 outright and silver, it was Josh Miller for the 3rd time this year, Jack Mitchell for the 4th. Here you're amalgamating the times of the two drivers. Tom Wood and Andrew Howard, pole position in GT3 Silver Am, and Pro-Am in GT3, a 3rd pole of the season for Maxi Gertz and a 1st of the year on his time for Kevin Say. As I say, sometimes it's a one driver, one session, and it's that time for the grid. Here you're amalgamating the times. There is the grid then. We're ready to go. It'll be a rolling start, of course, so at the end of the formation lap, the cars don't stop on the grid. They go into the race itself. But straight away, Blackthorn, Joe Osborne, with that question mark over the number 7 Aston Martin. If the team manager is up with the stewards already, things look bleak.
Yeah, and it's specifically written in the rules, no fans may be used on the car at any point. And Rob Collard's slow to get away. all okay. He's moving now, didn't go to the last place on the grid, so he'll get back in front and be happy. But yeah, I suspect that is pretty much a nailed-on drive-through penalty for the 7 Aston Martin. Drive-through penalty here is 24.9 seconds. They will get 3 laps to serve it if it's given to them on the first lap, and that's what they'll need.
While the pack is tightly bunched, this is how the grid is going to form. The driver you're looking at is the start driver, so it is Kevin Say on pole position with Giacomo Petrobelli in the Aston Martin. We're talking about number 7 alongside. Alex Martin will start third. His teammate at Barwell, Rob Collard, in the sister car, starting 4th. 5th on the grid is going to be Morgan Tilbrook. 6th on the grid, Charles Dawson, ahead of Andrew Howard on row 4, and then Simon Orange next up. It is Mark Smith starting on the 5th row. Nick Jones in the sole Porsche is alongside him. Newcomer John Kearney in the Optimum Motorsport Green McLaren is next with Chun Chung Ip, Johnny alongside. Then you've got Jack Mitchell starting on pole position within GT4, yet to win this year. The same is true of Luca Hopkinson, who's alongside. They've had a 2nd place though this year. You've got Ravi Ramyi next, 3 wins in GT4. Championship leader Mark Warren, 4 times a winner, is next, ahead of Chris Sulkelt, who's had a couple of 3rd places. Ian Duggan in his Ginetta is ahead of John Curry, and then Luke Garlick, who had the dramas yesterday. Bolt came out of the car, caused a spin, tyre off the rim, and qualifying starts at the back. So that's a car to watch. This also is going to be a car to watch. This is Rob Collard, who, as he was saying to Joe on the grid, needs a touring car start. Well, we know he can overtake around the outside. He did it in touring cars with regularity. He does it in GT race.
From behind, and you increase the risk there. You can see the car in front, Morgan Tilbrook, the Optimum McLaren. He's got nothing to lose, he told me before the race. It's win or bin, and that's the last thing you want to hear. And here is Morgan Tilbrook. He is seriously pumped up for this. You can see still working the tyres, rear left on the dash slightly low, so keep an eye out for cars sliding around on this open.
Gen Z versus millennials. चलिए देखते हैं इन दोनों generations में कुछ common है भी या नहीं. आप किसी को call कैसे करते हो? Photos click कैसे करते हो? खाना खाना हो तो? किसी को payment करना हो तो? No UPI. But why not?
You heard drivers talking on the grid about extra compensation time in the pits. We'll come to that during the course of the race, but the car on pole position, winner last time out, has to have a 20-second longer pit stop than those that weren't in the top 3. The safety car peels in. Lorna Vickers, or Lorna Daly as she now is, having recently married Peter Daly, the championship race director. Congratulations both. The safety car peels into the pit lane, and it is going to be Kevin Say versus Giacomo Petrobelli then to get the penultimate round of the British GT Championship underway, down towards Paddock Hill Bend. Petrobelli makes a good start on the outside. Rob Collard trying to shovel him round the corner. He's right up behind, round the outside of the Mercedes. Tries to go Petrobelli. He's done it, I think, on the outside line as they head uphill for the first time. Yes, Aston Martin hits the front. Collard goes second. Kevin Say a cautious start. He's down to 3rd place as they go down towards Graham Hill Bend. But the good news is everybody through the first couple of corners safely. Although that said, there's one on the grass coming out of Druids back onto the tarmac. Hopefully, I think we've had a spin. In fact, coming out of Druids, 1 car off the road.
Yeah, Optimum McLaren 90. Looks like it's hit the wall. It's taken the barrier out. How much damage? It's probably on the other side of the car. Another cautious start was Martin, the Lamborghini. He got jumped originally by Tilbrook, who's now behind. But look at Dawson, now over the back of his teammate. These are 1 and 2 in the championship, but in the other order. As you see a move from Smith down the inside of Howard, is there going to be contact? Fair driving by both.
Good effort by Mark Smith, didn't come to anything right. The McLaren, in the meantime, number 90, is still stranded on the side of the circuit coming out of Druids. So the GT4 champions-elect, effectively, are not moving. That suggests we're going to end up with a safety car. Peter Daly, the race director, will be keeping an eye on all of these pictures. He'll be keeping an eye on what's going on. He'll give them time to try to fire up the engine and get going. If the car can't move, we're going to have to scramble a safety car. It is on standby, I think, as the field comes down to the end of lap number 1 then. So it is Giacomo Petrobelli, despite this Damocletian investigation hanging over him, in the lead of the race as they come up towards the timing line. There, 84 Ginetta leading in GT4. Safety car is called then. Safety car is called. You can race until you get to the line, but the safety car will neutralise the race. And this is not great news for the people that need to try and build a gap, of course, with the longer compensation time in the pits. Petrobelli leads at the end of lap 1. We're still waiting for the stewards to deliberate and to adjudicate on that incident on the grid.
Yeah, this is bad for them, the safety car, if they do get a penalty, bunching everyone back up. It was everyone on the outside row, wasn't it? Everyone I spoke to, actually, Petrobelli, Collard and Dawson went forward at the start, and it was the inside, historically so strong here at Brands, because the first 2 corners are right-handers. It always favours them. But Petrobelli, like Johnny Adams said he would, was going to be aggressive, and he sent it. And Kevin said was the opposite. He was just too cautious, wasn't he? He was out lap 1, turn 1 last year. Was that playing on the back of his mind?
Now, straight away, even if that Optimum McLaren of Mark Warren gets going, they've gone a lap down. So getting to the end of the race would potentially get them some points in class, but the result there is going to be a bleak one unless we get another safety car period later on and they can benefit from what's called a wave buy to put them back onto the same lap as the class leader. But right now, number 90 is 1 lap down and is not for moving. It's going to have a flatbed, and I think therefore it's out of the race. I can't actually see a way now that that car can fire up and rejoin.
No, I think there's going to be actually a lot of damage to the left-hand side of that car, and the suspension probably just tweaked out. And yeah, brutal after such a strong season thus far. What was the reason? The Optimum guys don't know yet. Jack Brown, the teammate to Warren in the background there, looking pretty bemused, but Mark Warren trudges away, and that is day done. The wheel arch liner being thrown away as well.
And if you look at the amount of damage to the tyre wall, you can see it was a big whack. This is the GT4 start then, so heading down towards paddock. The car we're looking for is the white and yellow McLaren on the outside of the second row. You can see it there going through the shot near the white and blue and green BMW. So Mark Warren at the wheel, heads up the hill. It all concertinas look as the GT4 traffic gets onto the back of GT3. Mark Warren on the outside. The BMW just slid slightly, tiny touch between the two, but that was enough to put the McLaren rather off the racetrack.
Yeah, interesting one. It's either front left suspension damage instantly, which has lost any steering ability for the Optimum McLaren, or does it whip the steering wheel out of his hands and he can't grab it in time to get back away? Because that would have been a pretty big hit by the time it got to the driver's hands, and it just has that innocuous off. I think it's the latter, because suddenly he gets back on the trajectory. Too late, barrier damage, and yeah, race done for the 90 car.
And that incident has been noted, and it is race run. It's going to have implications for the championship. It's certainly going to push that towards Donington. Opening lap, cold tyres. It was a fairly innocuous slide by Ravi Ramid. Yes, it's got a serious outcome, but if you were a steward, I mean, heaven forbid you ever were to become one, but I mean, where would you sit on that? Racing incident or malice?
I hope you've read my tea leaves in the future, but I think it's got to be a racing incident. If Rami Ramid can slide his car like that to hip and shoulder someone on the exit of turn 2 of a 2-hour race, then he's a far better driver than I've ever seen. And unfortunately, that's physics, and going around the outside comes with a risk. Sometimes it pays off. Look at the GT3 field, for example, but the outside physics will always mean cars go to the outside, and ultimately that's what's run the course for the 90 car. Interesting to see, has Ravi Ramid got any damage? I wouldn't suspect so. The only damage I would suspect really is a rear left puncher on that car, and at the moment looks okay.
So we're behind the safety car then, as you know, because of this incident coming out of Druids, which in new money is turn 2 on that opening lap of the race. Giacomo Petrobelli is the race leader, ahead of Rob Collard. Kevin Say's third. There, number 71 then is Ravi Ramid, who is currently third in GT4 and leading the Pro-Am class. Doesn't look as though there's any damage on that car, so as I say, it was a very small touch. It had serious consequences, yeah, for the McLaren, but the BMW, tough old car, has got away with it pretty much unscathed. And Ravi Ramid may be completely unaware of all of this. When he watches it back, he might think, God, I didn't realise I was involved in that even. The touch was so small. Yeah, when you have an incident like that as a driver and you do see it back, you feel guilty, and Ravi will feel that because he's such a nice guy out of the car, and yeah, he will feel bad that he has ended the race for their championship rivals. Yeah. He'll then wake up Monday morning and go, oh, championship, look nice. Yeah, suddenly the racing driver ego kicks back in. Yeah, he's practicing his sad face for now, and then his excited face for Donington. Bryn in the pits confirms no damage on that BMW. Right, the McLaren is ready to be taken away, but the other element of all of this is going to be a lap or two just while that tyre barrier is put back in place. So safety car comes downhill. Pursued then by Giacomo Petrobelli. While all of this is going on, I'm keeping an eye to the message line on our timing display to see if anything has come from the stewards about number 7. The team manager had been summoned, so presumably the conversation is or has taken place, and the paperwork will go through the system. Right now, there is purely the safety car and the incident being noted to take up attention on the timing screen. There is 71 BMW through. GT4 being led by Jack Mitchell, the ever-rapid Jack Mitchell, who's been a mini racer, Ginetta champion, touring car racer, excelled in GT racing for McLaren out in Asia, in China particularly, for a good few seasons. And Giacomo Petrobelli then leading, having not raced here for 12 years. It's all come flooding back. The incident between Mark Warren and Ravi Ramid, no further action.
I could be a race director, David. Why are you giving me that
Still
look?
scared.
And so Petrobelli, this is what we're talking about on the grid then. So we're rolling into position. Look for a fan being placed anywhere on the front. You see the blowers, that red fan, the mechanic leaning down and blowing that in just to bring the engine temperature down. Normal in many championships, but like I said, it's stipulated in the regulation. No fans, no blowers, external or attached to the cars. So for me, that is a nailed on penalty. What's the penalty going to be? That's the hard bit. Drive-through feels a bit harsh, but I can't see them doing anything else.
Unless they do a time penalty on the pit stop. Now you can see the damage done to the McLaren and say, yeah, from the right-hand side, it didn't look too bad. From the left-hand side, that looks very sorry for itself indeed, doesn't it?
80% ब्रेकअप्स ना टेम्पररी होते हैं। सच बता रही हूँ, 10 में से 8 ब्रेकअप परमानेंट होते ही नहीं है। बहुत हाई चांस है कि अगर तुम्हारा पार्टनर तुमसे किसी ब्रेकअप की वजह से, लड़ाई की वजह से, कोई आर्ग्यूमेंट की वजह से आज तुम्हारी उनसे बात नहीं हो रही है, तो तुम्हारी लाइफ में वापस आएंगे ही। किसी अच्छे एस्ट्रोलॉजर से बात करो और समझो कि तुम्हारा जो एक्स है वो तुम्हारी लाइफ में कब।
Yeah, and shows you these race cars can be fragile. Look at Martin in the middle. The blue and black Lamborghini goes nowhere. Tilbrook does well here. Tilbrook should be fourth by the end of this lap. Falls back down later on in the lap. Dawson does well. Kevin Say with no momentum. That allows Petrobelli to cover the inside, which then frees up Rod Collard to send it round the outside. Those two new left-hand side tyres working for him well there to get him up to second place. Dawson relatively easy going. Tilbrook slow out of turn 2, and it was kicking off behind us. Petrobelli couldn't have had a better start. So here we are on board with Dawson. Watch this whole left-hand row go. Martin 10, 15 k's slower. Now Dawson can get to the inside. We're fourth. We're watching where's it going to kick off. He wants to get to the inside now. He's got Tilbrook behind him, fighting with Martin as well. He's able to brake where he wants. Collard goes all the way around the outside. Great move there. Kevin Say can't squeeze him out because Rob is in front. Does Dawson have a think about down the inside? Kevin Say having to get on the brakes there to tuck in behind. And now Dawson will be trying to get a run. He'll be smiling underneath that visor, and then suddenly it all goes. Rob Collard just defending to the inside just to make sure a dive bomb of Kevin Say didn't happen there. And a really good start on board the 42.
Number 7, Aston Martin, then leads on the road, but still with this investigation hanging over Giacomo Petrobelli. The tyres have been put pretty much back in place, so as soon as the race director Peter Daly is happy, he will announce that the safety car can peel back in and we can go racing once more. And number 90, now that you've seen all the damage, there is not a hope that that car is going to go back out. It's not going to be classified, so big points loss, and because this is a 2-hour race, of course, there are more points on offer, therefore there are more to lose, so it does have really serious consequences. The other thing we haven't yet touched on, and we ought to, is the pit windows for the different categories. In GT3, the stops have got to be made between 62 and 70 minutes. In GT4, it's between 58 and 70 minutes. The GT4 pit stops are a little bit longer, so you've got to factor all that in as well. As we've said, no further action taken against Ravi Ramid after this contact, but let's have another look at it.
Yeah, they're running side by side from the start, aren't they, now all the way? So the next right-hander, the Druid's hairpin, is going to be where the contact is, and Warren decides I'm going to try and go round the outside here. They're level at this point. Cold tyres for Ravi Ramid, slight bit of oversteer, bang, into the side of the 90 car, and I still think the most likely reason he's gone in the barrier is the steering wheel has been ripped out of his hands as the wheels have made contact. And you can see GT3's running side by side, Martin going very deep, and then the contact is now. Car goes off left. I can't see any obvious damage on the front right corner to make the car go off into the barrier.
And here it is from the high shot then, coming out of the corner. Tiny little tap and bang. And as the McLaren spears out of the tyre barrier, the damage is all done on the left-hand side. Tyres follow suit as well. Right, so we're back live. We're behind the safety car. We're coming to the end of the safety car period. We're still waiting for news on the outright race leader. This is how we now stand in GT4. Now, OK, this is how it is at the moment, and we're only 5 laps into the race, so things could change for better or for worse for Ravi Ramid and Charlie Robertson. But right now, 1 point between the two heading into the final round at Donington. Sometimes you just can't make the script up, can you?
Yeah, and I think it's going to be better for them by the end of the race because they're a Pro-Am car versus the two silver GT4s in front, the other Optima McLaren and the Mahiki 84. Those two cars in front, all the silver cars in GT4, need to serve another 24 seconds in their pit stop. So if Ravi Ramid can box within 24 seconds, he will take over the lead.
But he's got to serve 20, so it's going to be tight because they won at Snetterton in that last race in the season. They get the maximum, and on a 2-hour race, it is the 20 seconds. The safety car, as you see, is in this lap. The car's all bunching up down towards Stirling's. It's up to Giacomo Petrobelli now to control the pace. He can slow right down, let the safety car go and then choose when to accelerate. You can't accelerate and then brake. Once you go, you've got to keep going. You can't go and slow, you've got to keep accelerating, which Giacomo Petrobelli does now, and he gets the jump on Rob Collard really nicely.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go too late. Rob was able just to guess when he was going because there was less time afforded to the start line, but Rob really caught napping there, potentially wrong gear. It was that bad. He will be fired up now, and as they cross the line, that gap's nearly a second. That is a very, very average restart from Rob Collard, something I've never said before.
No, it's very unlike Rob, so maybe you're right about the gear. In third place is Kevin Say, who's on his toes, and there Alex Martin has a look at the inside of 42 Mercedes. Charles Dawson in the Mercedes. Alex Martin, who will hand over not to Sandy Mitchell, his regular co-driver, but Patrick Cuyel at the flying fin. A drive-through penalty for number 7 Aston Martin. Giacomo Petrobelli gets a drive-through penalty for the grid procedure infringement we saw. So the leader has a drive-through, and he's going to take it within 3 passings of the timing line.
Yeah, and he's going to take it on that third one because he needs to get that gap as big as he can to the GT4 so he doesn't have to come through them. At the moment, he's got 9 seconds, so he needs to get another 16 seconds in the next 3 laps. That's right on the cusp of the difference between GT3 and GT4. 9 seconds a lap in clear air, so he could do that as we see his GT4 battle here. The 69 Mahiki Ginetta against the Century BMW. They're fighting hard. Garlic had a good qualifying yesterday, but his teammate Blake Anglis had a puncture, so that car has been working its way through. Brandon Templeton behind, and actually they're starting to get held up slightly by 88. The Ian Duggan Ginetta, the one with green highlights. This could be an inter-team battle brewing. No team orders in GT racing. Each car to it.
I can guarantee once you start trading with AI, you'll never want to go back to doing it manually. The results speak for themselves. 7 out of 10 trades made by AI turned profitable. That's a higher win rate than most full-time traders on Dalal Street. While you're sleeping or working your 9 to 5, AI scans thousands of stocks, finds the perfect entry and exit points, and even places trades for you automatically. No more staring at charts or chasing random tips that cost you money. In my 3-hour stock market using AI workshop, I'll show you how to set up this entire system even if you've never placed a trade before. Whether you're a busy professional or a burnt out trader, this will completely change the way you trade. So, join me for just 9 rupees and start seeing profits from day 1. But don't wait. We have just 5 seats remaining.
So the race leaders then wriggling their way up towards Sterling's. A big effort being made on the inside. Luke Garlick tries to squeeze up the inside, but he can't quite find a way past Ian Duggan. And Garlick pressed by Brandon Templeton as well, look, as they come now down towards the right-hander of Clark Curve.
I'm not liking the look of this. I give it a 50-50 chance of contact between teammates. Duggan there for a huge snap of oversteer. That's going to allow 2 cars to go underneath him. Look like the rear tyre's not quite up to temperature. The Ginetta had a huge amount of squat and suddenly sprung back up over that nasty bump on the exit of clearways. And actually the Mahiki team will be breathing a sigh of relief there because that's allowed the move to be done relatively cleanly, and now Ian Duggan needs to steady that ship and just stay on the back of the 2 cars in front. It wasn't for a class position, so if he can stay with them and he can get dragged up to Ravi Rammeed in front, that will be important.
Right, now at the moment, Giacomo Petrobelli is only half a second up the road from Rob Collard, who did the fastest lap last time through, and Rob is really pushing. But then in third place, Kevin Zay has done the absolute best first sector. So Petrobelli's efforts to escape and try and build up any gap over GT3 is not really working at all. But he wants to try and clear all of that GT4 traffic the other side of his drive-through. So that's at the moment the real question is how far ahead he is. He is currently 14 seconds ahead of the GT4 leader, which is in 13th place, and that is the Ginetta 84 of Jack Mitchell. Let's go to the pits. Bryn has news about car 7.
Not huge news, Anders, I'm afraid, but what I can tell you is I spoke very briefly to Johnny Adam about that drive-through penalty, and he said, well, rules are rules, eh? And that was it. Very pragmatic, as you can imagine, as I believe into the pits, Giacomo Petrobelli comes.
He does indeed. Yeah, Johnny's been around the block long enough to know that if you do something wrong, well, you've got to rebuild your race, take the penalty accordingly. And Giacomo Petrobelli then has this long, slow drive down the pit lane at 40 kilometres an hour, and he's going to drop behind the GT4 traffic as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to be a big fan of that penalty, are they? It certainly blows their chance of a race win today. Surprised they boxed so early. They could have done another 2 laps to serve that penalty, and this is why I'm surprised, because you're now in a GT4 battle, and suddenly you've got to fight past 3 GT4 cars to get back to the GT3 field. So I'm sure Blackthorn have got their reasons. I don't see it.
Well, they've got it done at any rate. Now they can concentrate on trying to rebuild the race. Now, Kevin Say, there in second place in the Mercedes, has just had his first track limit warning as well. We haven't yet worried about track limits too much, but we might have to over the course of 2 hours. As Rob Collard then leads the way. It was here last year that he and his son Ricky won the championship. Rob, remember, missed the first couple of races because he wasn't able to take part because of an operation. He's bounced back. He won at Alton Park. Still a very, very quick GT racer, and Kevin Say is finding out just how quick as he tries to narrow that margin. In third place then, it is Charles Dawson, the championship leader, but he's dropped quite a long way back already from the top 2.
Yeah, I was just looking at the times actually. He steadied the ship slightly on this lap, so let's see as they cross the line as that gap stopped growing so quickly. But what a great lead battle here. We've got a championship protagonist in Kevin Say. We've got reigning champion Rob Collard. Kevin Say was quickest in his qualifying session yesterday. Of course, he was 0.3 quicker than anyone, 0.6 a lap quicker than the Lamborghini in front of him. So he'll be looking quite confident at that. And sure enough, Dawson on the last lap lost just over 1/10 of a second. So that car may be coming back to him in third place. And he's bringing Martin with him. Only half a second between the other Mercedes and Lamborghini at the front.
And there is 77 Morgan Tilbrook ahead of 97 Aston of Andrew Howard. Going through in 8th place, Nick Jones. There's number 3 newcomer to the championship, John Kearney, in the green Optimum McLaren. And that car is currently in 10th place, having got up past 67, the Simon Orange McLaren. So John Kearney adapting nicely to GT3 machinery. This is how he got the place a lap ago at Surtees. Gap on the inside, thought about it, and then Simon Orange just runs out wide, runs out of real estate, up the curb, onto the grass, and John Kearney says, thank you very much.
A bit of an agricultural excursion from both of them. It's Kearney, who I think was looking in his mirror at Orange and then kicked it up through that little kink as they go down the back straight here. But great move from John Kearney. First ever GT3 race in that Oxen McLaren against a very experienced and very fast at times Simon Orange. And we've got fire there on the Ginetta. Jack Mitchell, our GT4 leader. I think that's the exhaust on the right-hand sill. He will want to get out of that. That's not the nicest place to stop, but he's got the horrible decision to get out, and you can see why, because that cockpit is engulfed in flames. Expect a full course yellow.
Yeah, I was going to say at least a full course yellow, probably a safety car, because we're going to need fire truck, fire marshals to this. This might help number 7 Aston get back into the game, but perhaps the bigger question is what has caused that so suddenly, because that is quite a big fire. You could see all the black smoke billowing out. Prepare for full course yellow. Peter Daly, the race director, instructs the teams full course yellow straight away. The benefit of doing this is you can get everybody to slow down on instruction. You don't need to worry about the safety car being deployed and picking up the relevant car. You just get everybody to slow down, then you can take control of the race and of the situation. As there is number 7 Giacomo Petrobelli. He's in 12th place. Now at the moment a full course yellow is of not huge benefit because the gaps don't come down, but I reckon we will end up going safety car and that will bring him back into the game. But we've got no fire marshal there yet. The Ginetta is well ablaze, and that is going to be a very sorry mess if nothing gets to it soon.
Yeah, it's hard for the marshals because all the fire trucks on the outside there on the GP loop, so they've got to get control, race control, to give them clearance to cross a live circuit. Of course, at 80 kilometers an hour, it's safer, but yeah, that's going to be a huge fire. And I don't know what's caused the fire, but where it was in the sill, the fiberglass against the exhaust, maybe a piece of rubber has burnt and it's created that.
And worse, in a sense, is that because it's early in the race, it's full of fuel. If this were, 2 laps from the end, it'd be relatively light, but there's a lot of fuel there. That's going to take some stopping, and it's going to burn a lot.
Yeah, originally I thought Jack had stopped maybe slightly early, but when he opened the door and you saw how much black smoke, Marshall's there now, the pickup truck behind with the larger extinguisher, and Josh Miller there voicing his thoughts on it. He has had zero luck this far.
Absolutely. I was going to say, what is it about Mahiki? Because at every race meeting, they look to have so much potential, so much promise, and something out of the blue goes wrong, whether it's been with the Lotuses or they thought they got the solid option with the Ginetta. And here it is. Have a look in the replay. So Jack Mitchell accelerates down towards Hawthorne. There's the flame licking to the right-hand side. But that's not flame spitting out on overrun. By this stage, we've got a real problem. You can see the flame again coming out at the side of the car. The smoke as well. Jack knows about this. He aims for the best place he can out of harm's way at the next marshal's post, but the car's already well ablaze.
Yeah, and the marshals have now done a good job of containing that fire. I thought that was going to be a total loss at one point, but those sills really do light up, and they're just so the resin in the fiberglass is basically a fuel for the fire.
Well, Jack Mitchell sadly out of the race, and poor old Josh Miller doesn't know where to look. To make matters worse, he's been caught by Bryn Lucas.
You like to set it up that way, don't you? Now, Josh, I'm really sorry to have to come to you in this way, but that's unexpected. When will your luck change?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. It's pretty tough to take this one. This seems pretty relentless this season. Luck just hasn't gone our way, and we had no reason to suspect anything was wrong with the car right up until that point. So it's a bit of a shock to all of us.
I was just talking to Chris Emery. We're going to come to him a little bit later on and get a bit of a clearer picture from him. Hopefully that's the team manager at Mahiki. But can you tell me what your initial thoughts are that may have caused that?
I'm not really going to comment or guess right now, but yeah, I'm sure Chris will come to you with an update in due course.
And what about Jack? He's out of the car, he's okay and everything like that?
Yeah, he got out of the car pretty quickly, so he's all good.
Sorry about this. It's horrible to come to you in this way, but hopefully Donington will bring you better luck.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
इन्वेस्टिंग में भी सारी चीजें एक साथ मिलती तो कितना अच्छा होता। ग्रो पर ये पॉसिबल है। स्टॉक्स, म्यूचुअल फंड्स, आईपीओस, ट्रेडिंग सब एक ही जगह और साथ ही फ्री डीमेट अकाउंट, 0 एमसी चार्जेस, 24/7 कस्टमर सपोर्ट। ग्रो के साथ इन्वेस्टिंग एकदम कन्वीनियंट है।
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
अगर आप भी चार्ट्स पे ट्रेड करते हो ना तो धन आपके लिए बना है। अब मार्केट में क्या हो रहा है उसके लिए यू नीड टू नो प्राइसेस बियॉन्ड जस्ट लास्ट ट्रेडेड प्राइस या एलटीपी एंड उस डीप एनालिसिस के लिए यू नीड टू नो
It's got to be at Donington because that's the last round. Some very sombre faces, understandably. And as we were saying, it was a car full of fuel. So not only was it whatever the problem was that triggered the blaze, the fact that the amount of fuel was there just rather exacerbated the whole situation. So, real stop-start beginning to the race. Full course yellow, we're going to end up with a safety car surely, because the longer you run under full course yellow, the more likely it is, and there is the safety car on track. The lights aren't on, so we're not yet under safety car conditions. If you're wondering why the gaps haven't closed, they can't do that until we go into the safety car procedure. At the moment, we're under full course yellow. That means you have to run at this delta pace, but only on instruction from race control. To go into safety car procedure, can you accelerate? Safety car goes faster at motorway speed, if you like, than the full course yellow delta speed. So only then, when the safety car takes charge, can you speed up and the gaps can come down.
Yeah, and that's what Petrobelli needs. And looking at his lap times, currently the fastest car, easy for me to say, but I think he's got more pace than that, so I think he could charge all the way from where he is in 12th at the moment, maybe to the top 5, top 4. Of course, the pace is one thing, overtaking is another, and he's going to have 35 minutes, 22 laps or so to try and rescue a decent result today.
Rob Collard, who is the outright race leader, has 10 seconds of extra time to serve in the pits. Wiper on Alex Martin's Lamborghini. Is that because he got a bit of liquid onto the screen? In second place, Kevin Say, 20 seconds. Third, Charles Dawson, no extra time to serve. And then in fourth place, Alex Martin, 15 extra seconds. So, yeah, if Giacomo Petrobelli can make some progress on the resumption of the race, he is going to be able to buy a few more places back on the stops. As you look at number 17, which is now the GT4 leading car, Harry George at the wheel of the McLaren. And that's another combination that's been a bit short of luck this year, him and Luca Hopkinson.
Yeah, lots of car issues. You can see he's got his hand out of the little window there on the McLaren Artura, trying to get some fresh air. Not the best place to do it next to the Ginetta that's on fire, but drivers do get hot, and that McLaren Artura does run hot, so the driver's always trying to get some fresh air. Team will be talking to him, right, we've got another 30 minutes we need from you. And at the moment, sitting pretty, but of course, the gap behind him is going to evaporate once the safety car comes out, and Ravi Ramid, who was 7.5 seconds behind before this, will be right on the rear of this 17 Optimum car.
Coming then now through Stirling's. So we're working lap number 13 at the moment. We haven't seemingly had that many full racing laps, what with the early safety car period for Mark Warren, now the safety car period for poor old Jack Mitchell. And here is Giacomo Petrobelli, who has copped the penalty. It was a mechanic, as you saw from that onboard shot, that got the fan onto the front of the car, and that was what did, under the regulations, to trigger that drive-through penalty. But all they can do is regroup, keep on pushing. You never know what's around the corner, and Mahiki Racing will confirm that.
Yeah, they really will. Well, they look like they were cruising nicely. Pace of Mitchell was good, and Josh Miller quick. And yeah, I think the safety car's gone out slightly prematurely. I think they probably want to at least get that Ginetta near a flatbed before they release the safety car to keep everyone safe. Because of course, those GT4s, as soon as we go to safety car, will be quick, and they won't want to have anyone working on the side of the track when the car's even under safety car speed to catch the train up on the track.
Yeah, Lorna Vickers, or Lorna Daly as she is now, very handy Formula Ford 1600 racer. She's been the safety car driver for British GT for many, many seasons now, and knows exactly what is required of her once the safety car procedure kicks in. They're going through number 77, Morgan Tilbrook, 5th in the race. 6, you can see Andrew Howard's blue and white Aston. Number 9, 7th is Mark Smith. Andrew Howard leading in silver AM. The opposition is the Honda that's at the back of this little quartet. So the car of Johnny Ip, number 86, you'll see it in a moment, the blue and white Honda. There it is, coming towards us. That is the other car battling in silver AM. There is Andrew Howard then going through the right-hander of Westfield. The road plunges downhill. You can see the work still going on to put out the blaze. And then a bit further back in the queue, in 12th place, is Giacomo Petrobelli. His co-driver is Johnny Adam. We heard from him on the grid. Now, I'm afraid it's going to be a rather frustrated Johnny Adam. I suppose all he can do, Bryn Lucas, is shrug and make the best of his stint.
Well, I tell you what, he doesn't look that frustrated, Johnny, given all the circumstances. I know you're very pragmatic and you've been around for a while, even though you're only 21.
21, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's one of these things, unfortunately. There's been a small mistake within the team, and yeah, consequences, we had obviously a drive-through, so it's hard because, you know, we've done a lot of prep for this weekend, we've qualified well. Giacomo's start was what we talked about, try and maybe gauge of going around the outside of paddock, and it paid off, you know. But it's a long race still, anything can happen, you know. We've got no pit stop time as well, others in front have. We'll close up to the back of the pack, but Championship's obviously closing down to the final round now, so we don't want mistakes, but yeah, we'll see. It's still a long way to go.
You hinted there about closing up the gap here, the full course yellow, the safety car. It looks like it might be quite a protracted safety car period we're going to go through here. How does that play into your favour, or does it?
It does a little bit in terms of others. For example, the Kevin Say car has 20 seconds in the pits, so the longer it's out, the better it is for them, but worse for them. But yeah, for us, it's more trap position. You know, we're at the back of the GT3, so Giacomo, when he gets going, hopefully he can maybe make a few more positions. It'd be nice to come in the top 8 maybe in the pit stops, but yeah, this weekend was about executing. Unfortunately, a small mistake in the pit on the grid is a big consequence for us.
Quick thoughts on Giacomo. He's not been to Brands for over 10 years, and he doesn't get a practice session ahead of the time as well. So Saturday, when he jumped in the car, was the first time he was able to do it in that more than 10-year period. How has he adapted, and what's so good about him that enables him to do that?
We spent a bit of time on Friday morning at the simulator, so we used base performance in Banbury, and yeah, we done 3 hours there. And to be fair, he sort of thinks about racing even in business terms, because he's very much dedicated to the sport. So he done a lot of prep at home on his home sim. So as much as he hadn't been here, it felt like the sim was the best session we've had all season, because he'd put so much effort into this weekend, having not raced here last year. So he hit the ground running. He's not made any mistakes. He's driven really cleanly all weekend, and he's on the pace as well. So he's been a joy to work with this year, as is the team. You know, we've really put a lot of effort into this year. We are a single car team against Optimum and 2Cs and others and Barwell. So we're fighting against them, but we're doing as best as we can. But yeah, hopefully a bit of luck we can need now for the rest of the race, and maybe get a good result.
We shall have to see. We shall have to see. Thanks very much, Johnny. Very quickly, talking about simulators and getting things ready. I was talking to 2Cs earlier on, David, and they were saying that they've been working so hard on calibrating their sim to make sure it matched what was going on track here. And so far for 2Cs, so far so good, maybe? Big question mark.
Supplement, sir. Know it all वाले investors के लिए.
It's looking promising enough, isn't it, Brent? For now, thank you. Just going back to Johnny Adam there in that last couple of sentences, perfect illustration of why Johnny is a required factory driver. No blame to the team, no accusations, complimentary about his teammate, just says all the right things, doesn't get angry about it, takes it on the chin, shrugs, gets on with life. You know, there's always a chance of a result to come, and you know, there are some drivers that would have been quite stroppy about that and quite keen to point the finger. Johnny's not that kind of a guy.
Yeah, annoyingly, I wish I was more like Johnny Adam. I think we all should be more like Johnny Adam and make a great politician later in life. Driver that won't be as happy. You just saw Jack Mitchell looking on into the distance at his burnt Ginetta as we see the championship standings here, and it is that 42 Mercedes leading at the moment. The gap smaller, of course, because the sister car is only 3.5 points behind. And then Hugo Cook by himself because, like you said, David, Rob Collard having to miss a round at the start of the year. So championship tight in GT3.
This is how we stand at the moment in the championship then. It is Charles Dawson and Cian Jewis ahead by 3.5 points from Kevin Say and Maxi Gertz, and then you've got Hugo Cook now third on 132. And of course, things are liable to change over the course of the remaining 90 minutes. Don't forget that we will be getting to the pit stop window. Now, in GT3, as I said earlier on, 18 Mercedes will carry an extra 20 seconds, 15 extra for number 78 Lamborghini just in the background. Number 1, Rob Collard, the leading car, that's got 10 seconds extra to serve. In GT4, number 71, the BMW of Ravi Rani, 20 seconds, 88, which is Ian Duggan's Ginetta has 15, and Brandon Templeton's BMW 14. And those in the Silver Cup, we'll worry about this in the pit stops, but they've got an extra 24 seconds to serve as well. Although the safety car is on track, just to remind you, we're not yet under safety car conditions. We're still under full course yellow. The safety car is there so that as soon as the race director is happy, we can go to safety car procedure, and the safety car is there, it's in the right place, ready to go. We don't have to waste any more time by scrambling the safety car or it going out and having to wait to find the leader. It's found the leader, it's ready, we're just waiting to activate that safety car procedure, and that will happen pretty much once that car is on the back of the flatbed and it's on the move.
Yeah, I'd say we're probably going to go back to green flag racing in the next 9 minutes, which will give the GT4 cars 18 minutes until their pit window and 22 minutes for the GT3s before they are allowed to pit. So I think that recovery truck will get going, and once it's in pit entry, then Peter Daly will call the safety car. Lap and a half, 2 laps of safety car, then we go back.
Just go back to that fan on the grid. Okay, that's the rule. The reasoning behind not allowing fans, is that a cost thing? Is that so that it's a level playing field? Some teams have them, some don't. How does it
it's got to be a cost thing, but in the whole scheme of what the budgets are involved, it is arbitrary. And the problem is other series allow it, and that's the problem for the teams. You just get well versed in a series, then you go next weekend into a different championship, and yeah, there's lots of rules in motorsport, and the team's job is to find the loopholes, but when they're written in black and white, there's not really a way around that. Rob Collard's starting to work those tyres. You can actually hear them skipping over the surface, and the drivers now not really concerned about maximising their lap time under the 80k because they know it's going safety car, so they're already starting to work their tyres and brake temperatures to try and get ready for this restart.
And also you can see on that graphic that the GT3 drivers have to do a minimum of 62 minutes before they can hand over. In GT4 it's 58 minutes, and all the stops have to be done by the end of the 70th minute of the race. You don't have to be back on track, but the car has to have come into the pits by minute 70. So over the line comes Rob Collard, and he has a little jaunty wave as he tries to get some cool air. There is 18, Kevin Say in second place. Charles Dawson is third in 42, and Alex Martin is in fourth place. There is 78, Alex Martin, going down towards Paddock Hill Bend. His co-driver this weekend is the very, very rapid Finn, Patrick Kujala. Great to have him back in the championship. Patrick's with Bryn.
Extremely rapid, and you're going to have to be very rapid when you get in the car, aren't you, Patrick? Because you've got that 15-second pit stop compensation time to serve, and it's so bunched up at the moment.
I mean, it's a hard place to overtake, so I will try my best, but we try to maximize the result here, so then the boys have a good position to go in for the last round.
How much pressure is on your shoulders then to deliver a good result for Alex when it comes to this championship? He's on the outsides of the championship looking in, really.
I mean, there is always pressure every race weekend that I do, but like I said, I try to do my best, and sometimes it's enough, sometimes it's not enough, but as long as I try my best, that's what it counts.
What do you know about Brands Hatch and the best places to go on the attack to find the extra few seconds and to get past tenths of seconds?
I mean, it's mainly how you manage the traffic. I mean, that's the key part here, and that's the only hope that you get when you're racing with the pros, is how you manage the traffic, and sometimes you get the opportunities thanks to that. So hopefully I get plenty of those today and manage it well.
1 लाख से ज़्यादा कुंडली देख चुकी हूँ मैं एज एन एस्ट्रोलॉजर. बस अपनी डेट ऑफ बर्थ मेरे साथ शेयर कर दो. कहाँ?
We know that Brands Hatch is a great circuit for the fans to come and view racing, but for you drivers as well, coming overseas to a place like Brands Hatch, it's one of the most iconic ones here in the UK with the fast flowing, or the nature of the hills around here as well.
No, it's a lovely track, especially for qualifying, low fuel, new tires. It's a great experience, yeah.
What makes it such a great experience for you?
It's just the track layout, everything, and the fast corners, everything, also the history. So yeah.
So get out there, enjoy it when you get there. Hopefully make up some spaces as well, some positions. Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
We're under safety car conditions. That means we're getting closer to the resumption of the race. Patrick Kujala touching on the history. It's Brands Hatch's centenary next year. Right, fans getting ready for the resumption of the race, and so too the teams, because they now need to start thinking about the pit stop window, effectively, which is, it's getting closer all the time.
Yeah, they'll be really starting to make sure that they are well versed. We saw a penalty already for the 7 car for fans. They can get penalties in the pit stop. Too many people over the line, fueling before the doors close, visors not being down for mechanics. So the teams will just be going through their final rehearsals. These cars working super hard left to right, leaving the rubber marks down. New tyre this year, of course, the Pirelli DHG. And it seems like the rear tyre seems to hold on a bit longer as well. So let's keep an eye on the pit stop. Like I said earlier, the one Lamborghini only doing left side. Let's keep an eye for anyone else doing that as well. And yeah, great job Patrick Kajala in the championship. I just think Finland, how many drivers they produce, population of 5.5 million, but they really know how to produce a fast racing driver.
Absolutely right. They're not too shabby at providing rally drivers either, are they? There in GT4, you've got number 17 McLaren leading the way. It is Harry George at the wheel, upholding Optimum's honour now with 90 out of the race.
Yeah, we haven't had a GT4 race winner that hasn't come from Optimum or Century in 11 races. The car to do it before that.
The safety car is coming in this lap.
Today trying to interrupt my
safety car, speed up, please.
It was Charles Dawson, championship lead in GT3.
Thank you. So, speed up safety car, says the race director, and that means that everybody behind it can therefore go quicker still to get the warmth into tyres and also get the pressures up as well. Let's rapidly, before we go back racing, hear from Tom Wood. His co-driver Andrew Howard, you're looking at, is in 6th place, leading Silver Am in GT3. Let's get to Bryn.
Thanks very much, David. Yeah, Tom, you're looking very rapid out there, and with the way it's gone so far today, and you're down in P6 at the moment, but there could be a podium here for you guys.
Yeah, our job at the moment is obviously to win our class. You know, we want to win this championship in Silver Am, you know, this year. So that's our main priority. But anything overall is obviously a bonus. The guys this weekend have done such a great job with the car. Andrew's done an amazing job as well. He's been improving all year, very, very quietly, you know, good about his business, but he's showing some really great pace at the moment, and our Aston Martin is doing really well.
Well, look, safety car's in, so off we go. Back to you, David.
Bryn, thanks. We're back green, so it is Rob Collard that leads the way from Kevin Say, and then Charles Dawson up to 3rd, and with the 2 cars ahead having extra long pit stops, that car suddenly looks as though it's going to be very competitive for a race win. In GT4, meanwhile, there, Ravi Ramyid tries to fend off number 69 of Luke Garlick. Garlick tries to chop up to the outside line for Druids, but he's not going to be able to do that. That BMW defending really well, but Ramyid then, does he compromise his own line into the hairpin? Got away with that.
He really did, wasn't he, Ravi Ramyid, putting his stick in the sand, and you shall not pass me there, Luke Garlick, and he's going to have to try and get round, and this is Mahiki's best chance of a result today. Petrobelli round the outside of Simon Orange. Simon Orange not doing any laps in warm-up, and I think that's starting to hurt him now, because this pace is not there in the 67 car.
Right, so now Petrobelli is moving himself up in GT3. So he was through the GT4 traffic just before we went safety car, and now he's starting to make some progress within the GT3 ranks as well. Collard, in the meanwhile, though, trying to edge away up front. The GT4 lead car remains number 17 McLaren, but you're looking there at Luke Garlick, who is currently 15th overall, 4th in the contest. As for the race lead, Kevin Say has now put himself right onto the tail of Rob Collard. They're coming out of Sterling's, and Charles Dawson, who, remember, in the most recent green flag part after the full course yellow, he had managed to drop back quite a bit. He's staying with them for now.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a 2, 3, 4, almost a 5-car battle with Tilbrook just hanging on the back of it. Then Andrew Howard with a bit of a gap behind teammate Tom Wood, who we spoke. We're looking back here from Rob Collard. What a great angle. You can see those 3 cars tightly behind 2 Mercedes, and then the sister car of Martin. Gives you a great illustration there of the vibration. You can see Kevin Say starting to get frustrated. He'll know that Dawson will want to get past him as well, so he's got a couple of laps while Collard seems to be getting back up to speed to try and get moved up.
Charles Dawson 3rd then. He's coming under attack from Alex Martin, and a big effort again. Luke Garlick tries to squeeze up the inside line against Ravi Ramyid at the hairpin. He can't do it. You've got Brandon Templeton's BMW there as well, the black BMW, the teammate to 71, come out of the same Century Motorsport stable. So Ramyid here, by having to go defensive, that means he's dropping back rather from Harry George, the GT4 leader, outright. So there is 71 BMW, and the run now down towards the right hand of Hawthorne once again. Ravi Ramyid could do without being attacked, but he hasn't got the grunt to get away.
No, Garlick will be relishing this, a chance to get 2nd place in his first race in British GT in this GT4 Mahiki Run Ginetta, and at the moment it looks like when, not if. Can he get down to the insider here at Westfield? It's not a big break zone. He's more just trying to force Ramyid into a mistake at the moment by filling the mirrors of that BMW M4.
Nose to tail they run. They've actually got away a little bit though from Brandon Templeton. Templeton, who was right with them at Druids. The black BMW, the third of these cars, has just dropped back by 2 or 3 lengths. They come down towards Sterling's, and there an effort is made again. Garlick tries to get up the inside, but can't find a way through. So Ravi Ramyid in the BMW fending him off as they come now down towards Clearways. Once more. BMW versus Ginetta. Century Motorsport ahead of Mahiki. Nose to tail they run. Up front, it's only 0.2 of a second between Rob Collard and Kevin Say. But here, Garlick tries to make the move on the outside line as they head up towards Paddock Hill Bend once again. The only option there is the outside line, but then Garlick needs to try to cut across the road, doesn't he? And squeeze up the inside, heading for Druid. Can't do it. He's committed to the outside.
Hard and fair racing so far. Ravi Ramyid definitely doesn't want to lose the position here. We saw contact with Ravi and the 90 Oxford McLaren. I think this is going to be job done now for Garlick. Great move, cut up the inside, and is now going to try and make his escape and try and catch that McLaren. That is the whole straightaway here in between turns 3 and 4.
And rather cheekily there, Brandon Templeton flashing his lights at Ramyid as if to say, come on, get out of my way. Well, it's only because of that battle he's caught up, but he's being impudent enough to suggest that Ramyid goes fast. And look, he's again on the lights there, all of a sudden fancying his chances. That's not going to go down hugely well with his teammate, that's for sure. Right, now Garlick getting away a little bit as...
So cute.
Yes, ma'am.
1 California sushi.
Absolutely.
And 1 salted edamame, please.
And what for the...
1 miso ramen, please.
Some things grow unbelievably fast. Presenting Navi UPI, India's fastest growing UPI app.
I can guarantee, once you start trading with AI, you'll never want to go back to doing it manually. The results speak for themselves.
We have Luke Garlick on his second warning for track limits at Graham Hill Bend. He's got to be careful within the remainder of his stint. And this is for the race lead. Nose to tail again. Rob Collard versus Kevin Say. Rob always goes well around here. Kevin Say likes these kind of circuits. Remember, he's been a winner at Alton Park in the past. He comes up towards the timing line. His co-driver Maxi Gertz watches on at the margin, 0.290 of a second. It's Lamborghini ahead of Mercedes AMG.
And Mercedes AMG have never won here at Brands Hatch. That is an amazing statistic for such a successful brand. 2 seasons successful team as well with that brand now, and this battle really raging on, and Collard definitely holding up the top 4 cars now. Kevin Say will know he's got 20 minutes left of this stint. Is he going to send a move? Maxi Gertz, his teammate, there to Kevin Say, looking pretty chilled at the moment. Always find it interesting when the pro hasn't got a set of headphones on, talking to the AM, trying to give some advice. He's obviously got the confidence. Kevin Say knows what he needs to do.
Nose to tail they run then. Kevin Say, the man from Macau, Rob Collard, race leader, started his career in oval racing. His father, the late Mick Duffy Collard, legend of hot rod racing in the 1970s and 80s. Rob came from the ovals to Formula 4, to Vectras, to touring cars, and then British GT champion in 2020 and 2024. But Kevin Say is crawling all over the back of the leading Lambos. They head up towards Sheen Curve. Collard knows how to defend, that is for sure. You have got to be committed to get past Rob Collard, and it is the Lamborghini that leads coming out of Sterling's. Charles Dawson is just dropping away slightly.
Yeah, ever so slightly. The last lap was slightly slower for Dawson. That's actually allowing Tilbrook and Howard to get on the back here. So this could be a 6-car battle if Collard doesn't find his pace. There's Maxi Gertz on the picture-in-picture on the left, on the timing screen. Second place at the moment, and they have got that longer pit stop compensation time than anybody else as well. And he's now starting to look a bit more stressed. Kevin Say slightly further back, seems to be very strong in sector 1 here, under braking for Druids. Then the V10 versus the V8 acceleration. Lamborghini versus Mercedes. It seems even in the mid part of the lap, and then maybe slightly favours the Lamborghini. This is why GT3 racing, balanced performance racing, is always so good to watch.
Look in the background. Giacomo Petrobelli has cleared John Kearney's green McLaren. He's on the back now of Nick Jones in the Porsche. So Petrobelli is edging his way forward, and of course with a shorter pit stop we'll be able to gain some ground in the pit window as well. But it's going to be advantage to Kean Jewis, who will take over that car, 42 Mercedes AMG, after the stops. And there is Petrobelli, look, already on his toes up the inside of the Porsche. Nothing Nick Jones could do there to stem the tide, as it were. Giacomo Petrobelli absolutely on a mission.
Yeah, he will be furious, not with himself, not with his teammate, with the team for that error that cost them 25 seconds, lost them the race lead. Remember how dominant he looked on those opening laps. It looked like he was going to cruise away. Hand the car over to Johnny Adam to get Johnny Adam's 21st race win in the championship, and that would have been how Johnny Adam pictured it as well. So their plan's gone out the window. What can they recover? What can they rescue from today?
over the timing line. Collard edging away again, and it is only edging from Kevin Say. Dawson is third there in the Mercedes. Fourth is Martin. Fifth is Tilbrook. Sixth is Howard. Gap back. Mark Smith in the McLaren is next, ahead of Johnny Yip. And there, Giacomo Petrobelli, who is gobbling up the real estate. He is now 8 tenths behind the Honda.
Yeah, I can see Kearney there getting on the apex curb well at paddock. And yeah, what's Say doing pace-wise? Dropped off on that last lap, lost nearly 2 tenths to the Lamborghini in front, and actually Dawson now doing the same pace. And we see this in GT racing now, getting in the dirty air. If you don't make the move within the first couple of laps, as Maxi Gotts now warms up, he knows he's got 17 minutes until he'll be in that Mercedes. Petrobelli will want to get past Johnny Yip, but that Honda is so fast in a straight line. That is going to be the toughest overtake of the day for him.
That's John Kearney going through. Maxi Gotts going through his stretches before he gets into the car. And that is Giacomo Petrobelli, who is starting to get closer all the time to the Honda ahead of him of Johnny Yip. He is stretching the gap over Nick Jones behind. So Petrobelli is 9th, and it won't be long before he's in 8th place. The lead gap comes down. It's rather elasticated, isn't it? There are certain parts of the circuit that seem to be favouring the Lamborghini. There are others that seem to be favouring Kevin Say. And there are a couple of cars now under investigation for the safety car restart. One is the Honda of Yip, the other is the Porsche of Jones.
Interesting. So again, race control will be looking at all the data there, but it's not just the ebb and flow of the sectors, is it? I think because Brands Hatch is so tight, so technical, the drivers have to drive at 98%, because if you drive at 101, you make a mistake, you're straight in the barrier, and you're just seeing them all manage this risk versus reward every single lap of the race. Petrobelli in deep there, that's going to lose him a bit of time, and you are going to start to see more and more marbles off the racing line as these Pirelli tyres start to shed the rubber. If you run off the line, you'll pick up the marbles, and then it takes you half a lap minimum to clear up. On board with Petrobelli. Let's watch this Honda. We're quicker in the corners, slower in the straights. Petrobelli will be trying to force a mistake out the Honda, force him in deep to a corner. This is a feint to the inside. Can he make him run in deep? Can we get a late air apex? Can we get on the throttle earlier and get the drive down the back straight?
We're almost together coming out of Surtees then. Speed building, you're on board with Giacomo Petrobelli. The front levels again on that short straight down towards Westfield. Petrobelli is closing.
क्या आप भी मार्केट्स में इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं लेकिन कंफ्यूज है अपने लिए तो चिंता किस बात
But he's now managed to catch at pretty much the narrowest and twistiest part of the circuit. Finding a gap around this part, you've got to be committed.
Yeah, these cars are so fast, so wide. That's why the drivers rave about it. You can see the quick dry being kicked up there. They're having to change their line. That is from an earlier instant in the race, and I wish Max Murray well as well, and the Ginesta Junior driver a fast recovery. But Petrobelli now getting frustrated. The car darting left to right. Bit of oversteer as well that he's having to correct. And I love this view. It speeds the view up. This is how quick it feels over the start-finish line. Look how tight it is, and you're trying to spot Paddock Hill, which then suddenly comes in. The cars dive downhill, 22 meters of gradient. The car bottoms out so much so you can't change the steering angle. This is one of the best racetracks in the world, but Petrobelli, I don't think will agree with me right now.
And he just can't find a way past the Honda, and he's being held up slightly because the Aston was able to gobble up the real estate to catch the NSX, but now, because he can't find a way through, he's got to run at the Honda's pace. And of course, Johnny Yip is doing what he needs to do. He's defending, he's hanging onto his place. He is perfectly entitled so to do. It's just a big frustration for the Italian. Giacomo Petrobelli, again, now uses the loud pedal coming out of Surtees. We know that this is a part of the circuit where he's quick, where he's going to be able to catch. But by the end of the straight, on the way down towards Hawthorns, running out of options to pass.
Yeah, and he'll be working that front tyre hard as it loses out. Look how much speed he carried through there. And that's what he needs to do. And then get a slight bit of luck and hope that Ip makes a mistake at the same corner. He's all over. Ip's going to the inside. I've never seen a move work through here. He's trying to force the issue. Ip was weaving left to right, but that's the flow of the circuit. And Petrobelli was trying to find it. Now Nick Jones is on the back of them too. So Petrobelli may have to start looking in his mirrors.
Out of Stirling's they come. He needs to try to get the move done at Paddock, and it's got to start now. He's got to get a good run all the way down through Clearways, here through Clark Curve, and then get close enough to make that move going down towards Paddock Hill Bend. The Aston Martin looks close enough, I doubt, as they head over the timing line now. So Johnny Yip goes through. He is 0.2 of a second up on Petrobelli, who is not going to be able to dive up the inside there because he's not close enough. And coming out of Paddock, he's not close enough either. He goes to the inside line, all the while trying to force a mistake out of Johnny Yip, who is standing his ground lap after lap, corner after corner, the frustration is building in the Aston Martin.
Massively so. The last lap of 27.3. Collard just did the fastest lap of the race at 25.1. 2.2 seconds lost from this Aston Martin of Petrobelli to Rob Collard, race leader, in one lap. That's all because this Honda is holding them up. And here's some GT4 traffic to liven up even more.
That is Charles Dawson lapping the slower cars. He's chasing after Kevin Say, who's fallen back from Collard now to the tune of 1.5 seconds. Martin gets past John Curry. Also, number 77, Morgan Tilbrook's McLaren gets past the Mercedes. You can see how different the GT4 Mercedes looks compared to the GT3 equivalent. Up towards Sheen Curve, that's Andrew Howard, the ice cream magnate, going through. Beach Jean very generously feeding people in the pit lane walkabout at 9 o'clock this morning. The marshals did the first lap, the fans got the second lap, so everybody fortified for the day. Really nice touch by Beach Jean, especially for the marshals, who are going to have a long, hot day out on post. So down through clearways then comes that leading line. There is Petrobelli, who's cleared the Honda, and not only cleared it, he's cleared off.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's the illustration of how he was losing 2 seconds a lap and how he has gapped him there. Now it is head down. He's got 12 minutes remaining of his stint, so he's going to get 6 laps, running really deep there. He's on the cusp of overdriving this car, flashing the headlights, trying to get Curry out of the way. Curry moving to the inside to say he's not letting through. That's another 5-6 tenths lost straight away. He's got to try and go all the way around the outside now and hope that Curry gives him the space, which he does well in the 30 GT4 Mercedes.
So John Curry dives to the left-hand side. Giacomo Petrobelli gets past the Mercedes. The other GT3 cars now will also work their way past Curry, who lets them all go and then claims the line back for Surtees. So Petrobelli's next target, Mark Smith, who's 3.4 seconds up the road. Now we need to start thinking about pit stops, don't we? Rob Collard, race leader, 10 extra seconds to serve. Kevin Say, 20. Charles Dawson in third place, no extra time. It's all playing out beautifully for the championship leaders.
Yeah, after a strong start, they were 6th on the grid, remember, and a really good opening stint. Got Dawson up to 4th. Penalty for Petrobelli. He's now 3rd. Martin is behind him. Pace is okay, isn't it, for Dawson? It's not been amazing. Remember, he had an off in qualifying, ran wide. So did his teammate, Kian Jewis, as well. So it's not like the car's easy to race. So they'll be happy but cautious at the moment.
But he doesn't necessarily need to be going any quicker. He's going to buy the lead because he's within 10 seconds of Rob Collard. So the team will be saying, OK, this pace is good. Kian Jewis, as the incoming driver, the higher graded driver, he's the one that's perhaps going to have the pressure in order to build the gap. But remember how good Kian Jewis has been against Maxi Goetz as an example this year. His first season of racing, the Mercedes AMG, Kian Jewis, he has been an absolutely outstanding driver in his stints. So is Charles Dawson in these AM stints, the bronze driver stints. And as the cars now run along Cooper Straight, you're looking back at Alex Martin in 4th place. It's going to be an interesting second stint as well. Patrick Kuyler, for example, up against Jewis. You're going to have Hugo Cook up against Maxi Goetz. You know, there's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, huge amount as we get the second drivers in. And no further action for the safety car restart for 86 and 66. So everybody all clear again at the moment. Andrew Howard has lost position to Smith, hasn't he? That's changed in the last couple of laps. Howard is actually looking very strong. I thought pace-wise he was within a second and a half of Tilbrook, who's now 4.5 seconds ahead of him. So it's been a rough couple of laps for the ice cream man who's been so kind today.
And there you've got Mark Smith ahead of Andrew Howard. Martin Plowman will go toe-to-toe with Tom Wood, and they're both being caught, look, by Petrobelli. That gives you an example of just how quickly Giacomo is going around here. The fastest lap still claimed by Rob Collard, and he did that a couple of laps ago, but Petrobelli is flying. When the track is clear enough for him to wring the time out of the car, he's certainly hustling.
Angel One app is built for traders. Open free Demat account today.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before
Yep, he's third fastest car on track. Collard's just gone faster again. Say's gone quicker. Then it's this car, third fastest. Andrew Howard. Different teams, Beechdean versus Blackthorn, both Aston Martins. Petrovelli will be whipped up here on Howard and want to get around. And then Smith is realistically his last target, I think, in his stint that he can get around. And that means he would have claimed all the way back up to 6th place. He would have done 6 cars in almost half a stint with the safety car.
And you never know what might come in the second stint to bunch things up and give Johnny Adam a lifeline. So this is Petrovelli making his move against Andrew Howard, who covers off the inside as best he can. Petrovelli goes to the inside line, easily done on the inside, goes through. I think Andrew Howard realised that wasn't a battle he was going to win.
Now he went to the inside, Smith kicking up the dirt in front of them, and then Petrovelli showed how aggressive he was, and Howard thought, oh, you know what, there's no point fighting this. You could see on the graphic up previously the time difference, and it wasn't really a fair fight. Petrovelli now can keep that momentum going and gain on Smith in that paddock McLaren in front.
Rob Collard, by the way, the race leader, has done another fastest lap of the race, and he's extending the gap now over Kevin Say. There is Petrovelli. He's up into 7th, and the top 6 beckons, we reckon, before he has to bring the car into the pit lane to give way to Johnny Adams. So he's chasing after Mark Smith. It was about a second before he cleared the Aston of Andrew Howard. So let's see what Giacomo Petrovelli can do then, as the American driver Mark Smith is his next target. That's the leader, Rob Collard, 2.9 seconds now. Last time around, another 10th gain. Fastest lap of the race done by Rob Collard a couple of laps back. And there he is, heading into Druids with another back marker. It's Brandon Templeton ahead in the BMW.
Yeah, he's got 3 more GT4s to clear, and I think he's going to have to do all 3 of them before the end of his stint. This first one of Templeton's going to be easy. That's no time loss whatsoever, because he ran me starting to lose time on the sister BMW there. Kevin Say with another good overtake. Dawson should be okay. Alex Martin in this Lamborghini might be slightly harder. It's going to be by the end of the straight as I go down Pilgrim's Drop. He'll be wanting to get past that white BMW, the GT4 car.
Accelerating then now down towards the right-hander of Hawthorn. We're on lap number 30. We've got 65 minutes to go, so the first pit stops will not be too far away. Looking from the back of Charles Dawson's Mercedes AMG, working his way through GT4 traffic, and in the process getting away from Alex Martin, who's a little bit held up there, isn't he, by Ravi Rami. Not deliberately, just found the car at the wrong part of the racetrack.
Yeah, as predicted. It's just where you catch them, and that is just pure luck. And then you really have to roll the dice of how risky is the move going to be, and that's what Tilbrook's thinking. Do I really want to go around the outside there? But because he looked to the outside, Ravi Rami's like, well, I'll give you the space. But if Tilbrook had waited a split second and gone to the inside, he would have just saved himself 2 seconds in time loss, and the same for Ravi Rami, and that is multi-class racing.
So there, look, is Giacomo Petrovelli closing onto the back of Mark Smith. Just under 65 minutes of the race to go as Petrovelli then closes onto the back of the McLaren. When you look at the way that he's got through the traffic, the one car that he had the biggest problem with was the Honda of Johnny Ip. It makes you understand just how good a defensive job Johnny was doing there, because he managed to hold Giacomo off for a good couple of laps, if not more. Closing again under braking.
Yeah, you can see the McLaren looking slightly squirrely under braking turn 1. Hit the bump while turning under braking, and it just snapped the rear out underneath Mark Smith in that black and pink 9 McLaren there. Petrovelli overtook Howard here last lap. I don't think he's close enough this time. Is Ravi Rami going to hold up that McLaren GT3 car? Is that going to help Petrovelli? I think not. It was close, but there's going to be a big slipstream here for the Aston Martin.
So Petrovelli thinking about where he might be able to make the move then onto the vehicle bridge down towards Hawthorns, pulls out, pulls back in again, had a look, thought better of it, goes right. Collard, meanwhile, is leading by over 3 seconds now as he tries to edge away from the opposition. And Mark Smith on borrowed time, isn't he? Because the flying Giacomo Petrovelli, number 7 Aston Martin, closing all the while. Coming up now through Sheen Curve, goes into the right-hander, and then left at Stirling's as they flick their way once more down towards Clearways. Lap number 31 being worked at the moment by the race leader and by these two. And this is the fight currently that's for 6th place. There, Hugo Cook getting himself ready for the pit stops. The GT3 cars have to do 62 minutes, but it's only 58 for GT4 before they can stop.
Yes, all GT4s can pit on their next lap if they want it. They've got to be in pit lane for 2 minutes and 25 seconds, plus any compensation time. Silvers have 24 seconds on top of that as well. So it's a long minimum pit stop here. So we'll have to wait for everyone to stop to see where they all pan out. Petrovelli in the GT3 can't pit before 58 minutes remaining. So he's got another 3 to 4 laps, depending on where they are on track.
That is the GT4 leader. Harry George will give way to Luca Hopkinson, so the GT4 stint's coming to an end. And behind you can see, look at the closing speed, the differential in pace between the GT4 McLaren there and the GT3 Mercedes. Kevin Say on the lights. That McLaren is being driven absolutely flat out, but it can do nothing against a GT3 car. Night and day difference.
Yeah, the size difference as well. Smaller tyres, heavier cars, less aero, more physical. And the teams will be looking at it. George here coming into Sector 3. Sector 3 takes 23 seconds. There's only 17 seconds until the window opens, so he could box this lap. Is it too risky? Is George's pace good enough where they don't need to get Hopkinson in as early? But this could be our first pit stop, the 17 McLaren, as he loses the place to the 42. GT3 stays out for another lap.
Yeah, it does indeed. So Harry George will do one more lap at least. Well clear of Luke Garlick now in second spot, who in turn is keeping Brandon Templeton's BMW at bay. The gap between the leaders within GT4 is a whopping one now, because only does Luke Garlick come across the line now. 10 seconds, in fact, the margin. Collard leading by over 4 from Kevin Say for the outright race lead. Andrew Howard's car has gone by 8 behind Petrobelli, who is 3/10 behind Mark Smith, so that's not yet changed, but it could do soon.
Yeah, surprised Rami didn't pit there, the GT4 Pro-Am race leader, to get Charlie Robertson in the car. Qualifying yesterday, Robertson 1 second quicker a lap. That's a second they've lost now, not giving an extra lap to Robertson. Team will always have their strategy, but usually Pro-Am get the AM out the car as early as they can.
Gen Z versus Millennials. चलिए देखते हैं इन दोनों generations में कुछ common है भी या नहीं. आप
77 McLaren, this is the car, 5th. Morgan Tilbrook at the wheel of it, heading down through the right-hander of Hawthorne. He's going to give that to Marvin Kirchhofer, recently a double winner within GT World Challenge Europe. That's Mark Smith's McLaren, which will be handed over to the very rapid and underrated Martin Plowman. Giacomo Petrobelli bouncing over the curb. He's next in the queue, desperately trying to find a way by before he needs to pit. And we have got cars in the pit lane. Ian Duggan, you saw getting out to give way to Joe Wheeler, and John Curry is in as well to give way to Phil Keane.
Petrobelli's still sort of the same distance, and these are our Pro-Am GT4 cars left in the race, and that's really going to hurt Smith here. Is Petrobelli going to get the run? He needs to find a gap. George stays out again, so it really blocks Petrobelli's opportunity. Is Smith going to hug the pit wall, try and block the inside line? Petrobelli could look to the inside, which he does, gets alongside. I think this is going to be job done. Smith trying to hang it around the outside. Great job, Petrobelli.
So he's up to 6th, and that is probably about as far as he's going to get realistically. 4 seconds and a bit up the road is Morgan Tilbrook, and before he pits, I don't think Giacomo can catch. He might be able to nibble into that deficit. It's all helping Johnny Adam, isn't it, going into the next part of the race? But I don't think he's going to clear another car. That is coming down the pit lane, Ravi Ramid now, so he's gone 1 lap extra. Maybe the team were just playing it safe to make sure that he was well into that window. But
when they get aboard Bridger versus Wood, you can see the dump churns going in. The cars need to take roughly 120 litres of fuel. Those dump churns have 25 in each, so 4.5 need to get in the end. And George now looks like the rear tyre starting to hurt, sliding more and more. The Tottenham fan will be happy with yesterday, but he wanted to be happier with today, and at the moment they are in the controlling position as he stays out for another lap.
This is Nick Jones at the Porsche, looking to try to get up the inside of the traffic, which he does. 10th now is Nick in the Team Parker racing car. TPR are also busy at Silverstone this weekend, running, can't really call them historic, but classic, if you like, GT3 cars from the early days of the category, which is a burgeoning class. We're going to see more of that at SRO events as well next year. So that is Petrobelli, and he's done the fastest lap of the race. Giacomo Petrobelli now the quickest man in the race. He's done a 1:25.090. That's about a 10th faster than Rob Collard. So Petrobelli, fastest lap of the race. It doesn't often make you think what he could have achieved were it not for that drive-through, which doesn't make the mechanic in question feel any better about life.
No, it's a team sport, like Johnny Adam was saying. He will make a mistake at some point in his career, and the team is exactly the same. But yeah, he will be gutted there. Charlie Robson waiting to leave the minimum pit stop time. Essentially leaving the car up in the air to make sure as much tyre temperature stays in these Pirelli tyres as possible. As we now look at Joe Wheeler, son of Peter Wheeler, former TVR owner, and he's a proper hustler. Joe Wheeler taking over from Ian Duggan, who had a steady stint, not his best, not his worst, and this is going to be an interesting battle between them.
So Charlie Robertson ready to rejoin. Into the pits comes Rob Collard. Race leader is in then to give way to Hugo Cook, and you can anticipate a big wave of GT3 machinery down the pit road. Barwell, of course, with 2 cars in that leading group, have to think about double stacking. 1 car will serve 10 seconds, it's Collard's, 1 will be 15, which is the one to come in after. So they won't double stack for long, and they should still leave in the order in which they came in. Fuel churns are ready. Kevin Say has gone through into the lead of the race, so he stayed out. Everybody else in GT3 is in the pit lane.
Yeah, it's a great camera angle there. You could actually see the round circles where the fuel nozzle goes in, and 120 litres of fuel flowing in. Once that's done in roughly 32 seconds, the car will go up in the air. And let's keep an eye on what tyres they're going to change. You can see the mechanics are ready to do tyres. Is it going to be all 4? Just left side. Rob Collard, driver closest. Hugo Cook is going to be the driver getting in that car. They're doing dump churns on the sister car of Martin and Kajaya there, and then Paddock as well behind. So this is a proper race on pit road. Driver change now, all 4 tyres being changed on the 1 car.
Rob Collard runs round to open the door to move the belts to help strap in Hugo Cook, and in the background 78 taking on fuel. You saw how quickly it goes through the churn into the car. See the level of it dropping. This is the pit work going on for Mark Lemmer's Barwell Motorsport team. Meanwhile, a shorter pit stop to serve for 42. Cian Jewis getting into the car. Johnny Adam will get on board number 7. That also doesn't have to worry about compensation time, but in a sense, it served that earlier on by the drive-through.
Yeah, definitely new tyres for the 1 left side. I don't think it was on the right. No tyres for Johnny Adam on the 7 car. He did 2 sets in qualifying. I think that was their strategy. That's going to hurt them in the race. Windscreen tear-off being done for Hugo Cook as we're going to see the race on pit lane. Dawson should be clear because he was penalty-free. Now Jewis above the car, 42.
Johnny said to me this morning that we're going to use both of their qualifying sets during the race. So whether that's been a change of plan or they've done the tyre stop and we hadn't caught up on that, either way, that was the initial plan. It's a little bit tight leaving the pit lane as Marvin Kirchhofer gets ahead of Hugo Cook, and that gains them track position.
What a release from Barwell to thread it between the McLaren and the Aston Martin there. They would have lost no time whatsoever. It's now battle on here. Hugo Cook versus Kirchhofer versus Johnny Adam. What pace have they all got as they all flood back onto circuit?
Yeah, but ahead of them is going to be potentially Cian Jewis, isn't it? Let's check. So there you've got going out Marcus Clatton. That's Jay Bridger in the Honda. So there's Jewis through the GT4 traffic. So it's all swung in favour of 42 Mercedes, as we were predicting, without any extra compensation time to serve in the pits. In second place in the background.
2025 करीब 1 महीने दूर है, बट आपकी कुंडली
looks like being Marvin Kirchhofer in the number 77 McLaren, but look at the lead that now 42 has got. Kirchhofer is going to have to be an absolute weapon, isn't he now? He's got 55 minutes and counting to get on terms with that car, and the first problem is he's got traffic to worry about.
Yeah, straight away outlaps. Got to deal with those GT4s, which is the last thing you want Kirchhofer. The same looks like Kirchhofer's had slightly better first half an outlap on the Lamborghini behind him. He is sending it hard. He knows he's got to give it everything to try and catch the car of Jewis in front. You've got the McLaren in front, then it's Jewis, that's the gap. And you can see Hugo Cook working the track, having to get on the brakes, try and get to the inside of the 69. Mahiki Ginetta now with Blake Anglis aboard, did no laps in qualifying, drew a puncher. Robertson's trying to get the run as well. GT3, GT4 battles everywhere you look.
And into the pit lane has just come Harry George, the GT4 leader. So over the line there goes Hugo Cook in for Rob Collard. That GT4 battle is Charlie Robertson going through on the back of Blake Anglis. Right behind them is Johnny Adam, who needs to get past. But Charlie Robertson's experienced enough of multi-class racing. He gives Johnny just enough room. Hopefully Blake Anglis will do the same. So right now Kevin Say leads the way, but has yet to stop. And this is interesting because in real terms his pace against the likes of Jewis and Kirchhofer and Cook and Adam won't be quite as quick, so the gap in real terms is coming down.
Yeah, all they're hoping for is a full course yellow that they can then pit under and lose less time while everyone is at 80. That is a big roll of the dice, and I don't see it happening personally. When we're in the pit window, we tend to not go to full course yellow safety car as quickly or easily. So I think it's their only play today with that 20-second compensation time.
Robertson to the outside of Blake Anglis, then this could turn out to be for the lead of GT4, depending on the stop for Luca Hopkinson to take over 17, and that car is going to be on its way out of the pit lane very shortly as the field now turns through the right of Westfield down towards Sheen Curve. Every possible opportunity. Charlie Robertson is sticking the nose of the BMW into a gap, hoping to rattle Blake Anglis, who is very inexperienced, in fairness to him, at GT4 level relative to Kevin Say. So all that's happening now is that in real terms he's being caught.